I showed up at my wife's office with coffee, and she told me to leave like I was her most embarrassing secret. 10 minutes later, I already knew. She wasn't just ashamed of me. She was cheating on me with the janitor in the storage room. And when I showed her the video, she didn't cry. She destroyed my laptop with 10 years of work on it. Before we begin, please support the channel, like, and subscribe. You need to leave now. That's what Vanessa hissed the second she saw me walk into the lobby of Wilkes and Langford. She didn't even fake a smile, just charged straight at me in her patent leather heels, her lips barely moving as she grabbed my arm with fingers that felt colder than glass. I blinked. What? You're not supposed to be here, Michael. She snapped under her breath. This is my office. Vanessa, it's Friday night. I brought coffee. I just thought it'd be nice to finally meet some of the people you spend 12 hours a day with. Not like this, she said, already tugging me toward the side hallway. Not now. The hallway was all glass, executives strolling past, interns at desks behind panels, everyone pretending not to stare while definitely eavesdropping. Vanessa didn't seem to care. Or maybe she was too far gone to notice how loud her anger had become. You can't just show up, she hissed again. Why not? I asked, stepping back just enough that she'd have to look me in the eyes. I'm your husband. Since when is saying hi a federal crime? She glanced over her shoulder and gave a quick wave to someone. Fake smile. Pure performance. Then her face snapped right back to stone. Because it's unprofessional. That's why. You don't get how things work here. I felt my chest tighten. What things? I'm not here in flip-flops, Vanessa. I wore a blazer. I combed my damn hair. Her jaw clenched. Michael, please don't make this harder than it already is. Oh, I'm making it hard. My voice rose just a little, not enough to cause a scene, but enough for a few heads to turn subtly. I walk in trying to be supportive, and I get treated like some embarrassing mistake. She glanced around again, then stepped closer, her tone suddenly sharp. You don't get it. There are politics here. Reputation. People notice things. They talk. I'm not some stranger, Vanessa. I'm your husband. What are they going to say? She opened her mouth, then closed it. That silence landed harder than any insult. I laughed, but it wasn't the warm kind. Right. Got it. Let's just talk about this at home. She whispered, softer now, but not any kinder. Her eyes had gone cold. Please, just leave. I took a long breath and looked around at the firm. So sleek, so clean, like the future was happening in every polished corner. Vanessa belonged here. I could see that. But right now, it felt like I didn't. Still, I didn't budge. I came here with good intentions, Vanessa. And all I got was embarrassment. She didn't say anything, just stared at me like I'd broken something sacred. I turned and walked back toward the elevator, passing a few suits who couldn't meet my eyes. My reflection in the brushed metal doors looked smaller somehow. My name's Michael. I'm a lead residential architect with my own studio, for employees, and a reputation for mid-century design that had finally started to pay off. I wasn't flashy, but I'd built something solid. Quiet mornings, coffee just the way I like it, weekends sketching floor plans in the sunroom with jazz playing low. And until 10 minutes ago, I thought I had a partner in Vanessa. A fellow creative, someone who understood what it meant to hustle, to sacrifice, to build. But now I wasn't so sure. And what stung more than her words was how easily she'd said them. The car doors shut with a dull finality, mine soft, hers slammed. The moment I pulled out of the garage, I could feel it, the heat radiating off her without a single word. Vanessa stared straight ahead, arms folded tight. Her jaw clenched so hard I thought her teeth might crack. I kept my hands at 10 and 2, not saying anything at first. Downtown traffic was crawling, lights bleeding onto the windshield as we moved through the grid. I wanted to let the silence sit, maybe give her a chance to speak first, but the longer I waited, the more I knew she wouldn't. So I spoke. I'm not going to be talked to like that again, Vanessa. She didn't look at me, just pressed her lips together and glared at a bus stop ad like it had personally offended her. I didn't do anything wrong by coming to see you, I continued, voice steady. I wasn't loud. I wasn't disruptive. I said hi to a receptionist and brought you a coffee. Vanessa let out a long, low breath through her nose. You don't understand. No, I said, glancing over at her. I think I'm starting to. She finally turned toward me, eyes sharp. Oh, really? Please enlighten me. I think you're embarrassed by me. Her head whipped back around to the window. Don't start this. Why not? It's the truth, isn't it? I asked, voice firmer now. You didn't want your coworkers to see me because you're scared I don't measure up to the people in your little world. That's ridiculous. Is it? I shot back. Because the way you looked at me in that hallway. I don't even have a word for it. The sound of a horn blaring outside filled the space between us. I slowed at a red light, gripping the steering wheel tighter than necessary. I'm your husband, Vanessa, not some random stranger off the street. I deserve better than to be treated like a mistake. She started, then stopped. You don't get what my job is like. You never have. I bit the inside of my cheek. I may not work in a glass tower with catered lunches and rooftop cocktail hours, I said. But I know what it means to work hard. I built my firm from nothing. You know that, she scoffed. You've got 4 employees in a storefront office in a building with a nail salon underneath. So now you're mocking my business? I asked quietly. I'm just saying it's not the same, she muttered. I nodded slowly, letting that sink in. We were crawling down 9th Street now, boxed in by brake lights. Rain started to hit the windshield, soft at first, then steadier. I turned on the wipers. Still, the silence inside felt louder. Look, I said, keeping my eyes on the road. I know office politics are tricky. I get that you have to play things a certain way, but I won't be treated like a liability in my own marriage. Vanessa stayed quiet. Too quiet. I showed up to your office today as your husband. I said more gently now, as someone who wanted to be part of that side of your life. And you made me feel like a stain you had to scrub out. Her only response was a slow exhale as she stared out at the water streaks racing across her window. The light turned green. We moved forward. I'm not asking for grand gestures, I added. I'm asking for respect. Vanessa turned toward me again. You want respect? Then don't ambush me at work like I'm part of some experiment. You don't know the pressure I'm under. You're right, I said. I don't, because you never tell me anything anymore. That landed. She didn't speak again for the rest of the ride. Just sat there, arms folded, face unreadable. The rain came down harder. The only sound inside the car was the rhythm of the wipers and the engine humming beneath us. Traffic crawled, headlights smeared across the slick road. The air between us was heavy, stiff with the weight of everything we weren't saying. And still, not a word of apology, not even a half-hearted sorry or a soft, I didn't mean it. Just a scoff and her chin lifting slightly, as if I had somehow made things worse by reacting at all. I pulled into our driveway without a word and killed the engine. Vanessa unbuckled and stepped out immediately, heels clicking quickly toward the front door. I stayed behind, gripping the wheel for a long moment. I'd spent the last 10 years of my life building things, structures, homes, rooms filled with light. But I couldn't remember the last time my own house had felt warm. Not lately. Not with her. 3 mornings later, I stood by the kitchen island, flipping through a small pile of mail with one hand and nursing my coffee with the other. Most of it was the usual: credit card offers, a furniture catalog, a reminder from the dentist. Then I spotted it, a heavy envelope, cream paper, elegant raised lettering. It was addressed to Vanessa. I turned it over in my hand, feeling the weight of the cardstock inside. The return address read Wilkes and Langford, Executive Office, subtle gold foil around the edges. Not the kind of mail they send out for budget meetings. I didn't open it, but I didn't need to. I slid it across the counter to her when she walked in, already dressed for work in a dark blouse and gold hoop earrings, a travel mug in hand. This came for you. Vanessa barely glanced at the envelope. She recognized it instantly. Her shoulders stiffened for the briefest second before she masked it with a breezy tone. Oh, the Winter Gala, she said, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. They do one every year. I leaned against the counter, watching her closely. You going? She shrugged a little too casually. Nah, it's always the same. Loud, overpriced, kind of corporate cringe. I'll probably skip it. I raised an eyebrow. Really? Don't most people from the firm go? She hesitated for a beat too long. Some do. Not everyone. It's optional. Still, I said, sounds like a nice event. Big ballroom, music, drinks. Might be good for both of us to get out of the house. Vanessa gave me a look that was equal parts polite and dismissive. It's mostly small talk and schmoozing. Not exactly your thing, Michael. I gave a quiet nod. Maybe not, but I'm your husband. That makes it my thing. Her smile didn't reach her eyes. Michael, no. I cut in, keeping my tone even. You don't get to shut me out of this part of your life, too. She opened her mouth, probably to deflect again. But I kept going. We either go together, Vanessa, or I'll go on my own. That made her blink. Her smile twitched, the corners tightening like wires being pulled too tight. You'd show up without me? I met her gaze. If that's what it takes. She stared at me for a second longer, then laughed lightly, though there was no warmth in it. Fine, she said, brushing past me toward the door. If it means that much to you, I'll go. Her voice was calm. Her hands, not so much, fidgeting with the strap on her purse, thumb tapping against her phone. I'm glad, I replied simply. It'll be nice. I'll call the hotel and confirm our RSVP. She didn't respond, just mumbled something about traffic and ducked out the door. But before she left, I caught one last glance at her reflection in the hallway mirror. And that smile, it looked like it was carved from stone. The lobby of the Hawthorne Grand shimmered like something out of an old movie. Warm gold lighting, high ceilings, polished marble underfoot. I tightened the knot of my navy tie as Vanessa strode a step ahead of me, her heels echoing off the stone floor like she owned the place. You really wore that? She muttered, not even looking at me. I paused mid-step. What's that supposed to mean? She finally turned, lips pursed. Michael, I told you this was a formal gala. That blazer looks like something you wore to a client lunch in 2018. I glanced down. Dark blue wool, tailored last year. Polished shoes. It's clean. It fits. I look fine. She rolled her eyes. You look provincial. That one stung. Wow. Nice to hear before we even check our coats. Vanessa didn't apologize. She just turned and walked toward the banquet room doors, her low-cut silver dress catching the light with every step. She didn't wait for me. Inside, the ballroom pulsed with low music and corporate charm. Round tables draped in white linen, ice sculptures near the buffet, champagne glasses lined up like soldiers. The room buzzed with laughter and safe conversations about quarterly wins and architecture trends. Vanessa spotted someone, tall guy, salt and pepper hair, expensive watch, and immediately veered left. I see my team, she said without looking back. You'll be fine. Then she was gone, just like that. I stood there for a second, feeling the weight of it, the way she peeled away from me like I didn't belong in her world. I walked over to the coat check wall and leaned against it, letting my eyes drift across the room. I recognized a few faces from their firm's website. No one made eye contact. Everyone was smiling through sparkling teeth and lifting glasses in controlled bursts of laughter. 10 minutes passed, then 20. Vanessa hadn't come back once. I caught a glimpse of her across the room, laughing too hard at something a younger guy said. Her hand touched his forearm lightly. Familiar? Too familiar? That's when I moved. I crossed the ballroom slowly, weaving between servers and polished shoes, until I found the side corridor where she'd gone, a long hallway lined with framed renderings of skyscrapers on the wall. She was standing with a group, still mid-conversation. Vanessa. She turned, caught off guard by my tone. The group quieted. We need a minute. She blinked. Michael, can this wait? No. I nodded down the hall, not breaking eye contact. She followed reluctantly, her heels clicking louder now. What are you doing? She hissed. You're embarrassing me. No, I said firmly. You did that when you walked away from me the second we got here. Michael, not now. Yes, now. I lowered my voice, but the weight in it was unmistakable. I came here with you. I walked in beside you, and the second there were eyes on us, you pretended I didn't exist. I won't stand here and be disrespected in front of people I don't even know. She looked away, jaw tight. You don't have to like my suit, I added. You don't even have to like me tonight, but you will show me basic decency. For a second, I thought she might push back again, but she didn't. She just gave a tight nod, the kind you give when someone's watching and you're saving face. I stepped back, gave her space, and walked off straight to the bar. Whiskey, I said to the bartender. Neat. As I waited, I glanced across the ballroom again. A few people looked my way now, not with judgment, but with curiosity, like they'd noticed the shift, like they knew something beneath the surface wasn't right. And they weren't wrong. The first sip of whiskey burned just enough to remind me I was still standing, still grounded. I swirled the glass gently, letting the ice clink as soft music drifted from the ballroom speakers. Couples twirled in the glow of amber chandeliers. Laughter came in waves from nearby tables. That's when she appeared. Rough night. The voice came from my right, low, amused, with a hint of mischief. I turned. She was leaning against the bar, elbow bent, blue satin dress hugging her frame like it had been tailored for this exact moment. Her brunette hair spilled in loose waves over one shoulder. Confident, relaxed, like she already knew what she was going to say before I even responded. I guess you could say that, I muttered, meeting her gaze. She extended her hand, fingers slender, nails painted deep burgundy. Kylie, I work with Vanessa. I shook it automatically, caught off guard. Michael, I know. Her smile widened slightly. I saw the hallway thing, she said, gesturing with her glass. Classy. Real marital bliss. I raised an eyebrow. You always watch strangers argue at work events? She shrugged. Not usually. But in this case, she leaned in slightly, so close I could smell her perfume, subtle and clean, like jasmine after rain. Your wife's cheating, she said quietly. So dance with me. My hand tightened around the glass. I laughed once dry. What? I said. She repeated slowly. Vanessa is cheating on you. I figured someone should tell you. Might as well be someone who's not scared of her. I blinked at her, stunned. You serious? She nodded. Very. But we shouldn't talk about it here. Not with half the company in earshot. Kylie held out her hand again, this time for the dance floor. Let's look like we're having fun. Then I'll tell you everything. Every alarm in my brain was firing, but my legs, they moved. I set down my glass, took her hand, and let her lead me toward the floor. The band had shifted into something slow, old-fashioned, Sinatra, maybe, something meant to mask tension with elegance. Kylie placed her hand on my shoulder. Relax. You're doing great. My voice came out quieter than I expected. Why would you tell me? Because I hate hypocrisy, she said, eyes never leaving mine. And watching her play the perfect spouse while sneaking around makes me sick. I swallowed hard, keeping my step steady. What do you know? I asked under my breath. She was about to answer when a blur of silver broke into our orbit. Vanessa, pale, eyes wide, mouth pressed into a thin line. She reached for my arm, like someone pulling a fire alarm. Michael, she said breathlessly. I'm not feeling well. We need to leave. I didn't move, didn't flinch, just held Kylie's hand a little firmer and looked at Vanessa calmly. I'm dancing, I said. You go ahead. Vanessa froze. Her lips parted, stunned. Then, without a word, she turned on her heel and walked. No, stormed, out of the ballroom. Kylie leaned in again, her voice smooth. Told you. The kitchen was dark except for the pendant light above the island, casting long shadows on the tile, cutting sharp lines across the floor. I didn't speak when Vanessa came in. She tossed her clutch onto the counter like it weighed 100 pounds and stood there, hands braced against the granite. I watched from the doorway, silent, still in my suit. She didn't look at me. Want to say something? I asked. Her back straightened slightly. Like what? I took a step inside. Like maybe why your coworker told me you're cheating. That did it. Vanessa's shoulders stiffened. Then she turned slowly, her face already twisted into a mask of disbelief. Kylie, she scoffed. You're actually listening to that snake? She said it plain as day, right there in the ballroom. And judging by the way you bolted out of there, I'd say she hit a nerve. Vanessa's mouth opened, but nothing came out. Her eyes darted past me toward the suitcase I'd put in the hallway while she was still sulking in the bedroom. It wasn't packed, not yet, but it sat there like a verdict waiting to be signed. I can't believe you'd humiliate me like that, she said finally. Dancing with her at my company's event. You're mad about that? I asked, stepping closer. She told me you were cheating, Vanessa. I asked you to show me basic decency, and instead I got a bombshell on the dance floor. Her lips twitched, trying for control. It's a lie. Then say it. She blinked. I just did. No, I said, voice low now. Say it like you mean it. Her chin trembled. I'm not cheating, she whispered. Look me in the eye. She tried for a second, then looked down. She's jealous, Vanessa stammered. Kylie's always had it out for me. She's been bitter ever since she didn't get promoted last quarter. I said nothing. Her voice cracked. Michael, you can't seriously think I'd do that to you. I looked toward the suitcase. You need to pack, I said. Her eyes widened instantly. What? You heard me. Pack tonight. The silence that followed was deep and wide. She took one shaky step forward. Michael, please. I won't argue, I said calmly. But I won't live like this. And that was when she broke. Vanessa dropped to her knees like something inside her snapped. Her hands clutched at the hem of her dress. And for the first time in years, I saw tears, not the angry, manipulative kind. Real ones. "Don't kick me out," she sobbed. "Please don't." I didn't move. She crawled forward, grasping at my leg like she was drowning. "Michael, I made a mistake." "Okay." I panicked. I thought I could handle it. "I thought you'd never find out." She stopped, realizing too late what she'd just admitted. I stared at her. So Kylie was right. Vanessa pressed her forehead to the floor. "I didn't want to lose you." Too late, I thought. Still, I stood there, not speaking, not reacting. Her sobs echoed in the quiet kitchen. She stayed curled on the floor while I watched. And then finally, after what felt like forever, I spoke. "You can stay," I said coldly, "for now." She looked up, hope flickering in her eyes. But I was already walking away, not out of mercy, but because I needed her to know what it felt like to live with something broken and never be sure if it was going to be fixed. The next morning, the city looked colder than usual. Or maybe it was just me. I sat across from a glass desk, a mug of untouched coffee in front of me. The nameplate read Cameron R. Shields, ASQ, and the man behind it wore a navy three-piece suit and a gaze like a scalpel. No small talk, no warm-up, just hands folded, waiting for me to speak. I cleared my throat. "My wife's been having an affair with someone at her company." Cameron gave a small nod. "You're sure?" She admitted it. "Last night, after one of her coworkers, Kylie, told me at their annual gala." "Public event?" he asked, pen already in hand. "Hotel ballroom. Big crowd." Kylie said it loud enough for me to take seriously. And Vanessa didn't deny it. She tried, but I pushed. She cracked. Cameron scribbled a few notes, then glanced up. "Do you know who the other person is?" "Not yet." Kylie hinted there's more. She seemed angry, like she'd been holding this in. Cameron leaned back, considering. "Do you want to file for divorce?" I hesitated. "That's not why I'm here," I said finally. "At least not yet." He nodded again. "Then what's your goal?" "I want the truth on the record. And I want her company to know what's been happening under their roof." "Office affair," he said, tapping his pen. "If it involved someone with authority, or if it created a hostile environment, that opens a legal door." "She's in a leadership role," I said. "And she's been acting off, shutting me out, dismissing me at events, hiding things." "Do you know if company policy requires disclosure of personal relationships between employees?" "Not sure." Cameron turned to his computer and began typing. "Most mid to large firms have clauses about workplace relationships, especially if there's any kind of supervisory element. If she broke protocol, or if it involved misuse of company resources." "I don't want to destroy her," I interrupted. He looked at me, eyebrows raised. "I just want clarity," I said. "I want the people around her to see what's been hidden. This isn't revenge. It's justice. Quiet, clean justice." Cameron nodded slowly. "That's a smart approach. Strategic." He reached for a folder beside him and pulled out a thin stack of pre-drafted templates. "I can send an anonymous ethics letter to HR at her firm," he said. "You won't be connected to it, but it will open a formal internal review, especially if Kylie is willing to corroborate." "She is," I said. We spoke briefly. She said she's not afraid to help. "Then I'll include that reference. No names yet, just enough to raise flags. They'll start asking questions." He slid the folder toward me. "You'll get a copy of everything we submit. I'll request acknowledgement from their compliance office. Within a week, we'll know if they're taking it seriously." I nodded. My jaw was tight. My hands were calm. "I want this handled professionally," I said. "No yelling, no scenes." "You're coming to the right place," Cameron replied, slipping the file into a secure envelope. "I don't do drama. I do results." The air in the office felt heavier now, like I'd just set something in motion that couldn't be undone. I stood, buttoned my coat, and shook his hand. "Thank you." Cameron held my gaze. "No matter what happens at home, Michael, don't forget this. Dignity always wins." I stepped out into the icy air of downtown, briefcase in hand, the wind pushing hard against my coat. Dignity. That word stayed with me all the way to the parking garage. The cafe was small, tucked between a dry cleaner and a stationery store, with rain-slicked windows and the smell of burnt espresso clinging to the air. I got there first, took the booth in the back, and kept my eyes on the glass door while the city trudged by under gray clouds. Kylie walked in exactly 2 minutes late. She spotted me right away, shook the rain from her coat, and slid into the seat across from me without ceremony. No small talk, I asked, half a smile tugging at my mouth. She smirked. You didn't come for pastries, Michael. Fair enough. I leaned in. You said you had something. Kylie looked around, lowering her voice. It's happening. HR launched the investigation 2 days ago. No one's saying it out loud, but the tension in the office, you could cut it with a knife. I raised an eyebrow. That fast? She nodded. They didn't waste time. Someone tipped them off anonymously. Smart. By the way, I don't know what your lawyer wrote, but it's shaking the walls. I didn't confirm or deny. Just let her talk. People are freaking out, she continued. The partners are holding closed-door meetings, and HR's been pulling people in one by one. The admin team already knows something's off. They're whispering every time someone walks past. And Vanessa? I asked. Kylie smiled, but there was no sweetness in it. She's rattled. You should have seen her today, snapping at the receptionist, fumbling during her presentation with the senior design board. The confidence is gone completely. She looks over her shoulder now. I leaned back, exhaling slowly. She hasn't said anything to me about it. I murmured. Not a word. She won't, Kylie said. Not unless she has to. That's her style, control through silence. But it's slipping. She paused, tapping her fingernail on her coffee cup. I think she thought she could bury it, like most people do. And you? I asked. Where do you stand in all this? Kylie looked at me carefully. I stand where truth stands. Vanessa built her little empire on charm and bluffing, but everyone's been side-eyeing her for months. They just didn't have a reason to speak up until now. I tilted my head. You're not worried about the blowback? A tiny shrug. I didn't come this far to back down now. There was a quiet confidence in her that I hadn't noticed before, like someone who'd already played the worst hand and survived it. She wasn't doing this to stir chaos. She was doing it because something in her had snapped. Something honest. She sipped her drink. This won't be pretty. You know that, right? I'm not looking for pretty, I said. I'm looking for real. Kylie nodded, eyes meeting mine. Then you're going to get it. We sat in silence for a beat, the hum of the espresso machine and distant street noise filling the space between us. No tension, no awkwardness, just two people staring at the same fire, knowing it had to burn through before anything good could come from the ashes. Before we parted, she reached into her coat pocket and slid a folded napkin across the table. Names, she said softly. The janitor and 2 others who know more than they've let on. They won't talk yet, but if HR keeps pressing. I looked down at the names, then folded the napkin and tucked it into my jacket. Thank you, I said. Kylie stood, pulling her coat around her. Don't thank me yet. The storm hasn't peaked. She turned to go, but before reaching the door, she glanced back. I meant what I said, Michael. I'm not afraid of the truth. I watched her disappear into the city mist, and for the first time in weeks, I felt something shift. Not relief, not victory, but the unmistakable weight of momentum. The footage was exactly 15 seconds long. No sound, no context, just grainy black and white from a hallway camera marked Level B, storage. Vanessa pressed against the wall, the janitor's hands on her waist, her lips on his. It was sent from an anonymous address. No message, no subject line, just the file. I stared at it in my office for almost an hour, letting it loop over and over until the flicker of the security timestamp felt like it was carved into my brain. She didn't look drunk. She didn't look surprised. She looked willing. By the time I drove home that evening, my hands were steady, too steady. The front door creaked the way it always did, something I used to mean to fix. I stepped into the warmth of the house, and the scent of roasted garlic hit me. She was cooking, setting the table, playing normal. Hey, Vanessa called from the kitchen. I thought maybe we could sit down. She froze, wooden spoon in one hand. Her body went still, like a switch had flipped. I stepped into the kitchen slowly, set my phone on the counter, and hit play. She didn't move. The grainy footage played between us, 15 seconds of silence that screamed louder than anything I could say. When it ended, I looked at her. Nothing. Not denial, not shock. Just her lower lip twitching, like she was doing math in her head, calculating what to admit, what to spin, what to fake. So that's what this is now? I asked, voice tight. Storage room affairs with staff? Vanessa grabbed the phone and locked the screen fast, like she could erase it. Her hand shook as she placed it back down. It's not what you think. Then what is it? I stepped closer. Because from where I'm standing, It's exactly what it looks like. Her voice cracked. We were drunk. It was months ago. It meant nothing. Don't, I snapped. Don't insult me with the "it meant nothing" speech. She slammed the spoon on the stove, sauce splashing. Fine. You want the truth? It happened once. I hated myself for it. I was going to tell you. I swear I was going to. Liar, I said calmly. Her nostrils flared. Don't you dare call me that. You cheated on me. You buried it. You treated me like I was the problem. And now, after everything, this is who you are. Vanessa took a step back, trembling. I turned away, chest heaving. We're done. You're leaving tonight. No, Michael, please, she begged. We can fix this. Let's talk. Let's go to therapy. I'll quit my job if that's what you want. I shook my head. I don't want you to quit your job. I want you out of this house. She froze. And then something in her snapped. She lunged for the counter, grabbed my laptop, my work laptop, where I kept years of architectural drafts, contracts, entire blueprints. And before I could stop her, she hurled it into the sink. The sound of metal slamming porcelain, then the rush of water. She turned on the faucet full blast, her hand gripping the sprayer. I stared, stunned, as she drowned my entire career in a stainless steel coffin. You don't get to walk away like you're some martyr, she screamed. You want to throw me out? Then you lose something, too. I didn't say a word. I walked over, turned off the water, and picked up the laptop, still buzzing faintly as it died in my hands. Then I walked to the front door, opened it, and turned to her. Leave. She stared at me like she couldn't believe it, like she hadn't already detonated everything. Michael. Now she sobbed once, then again. But I didn't move. And when she realized I wasn't bluffing, not this time, she ran upstairs. 10 minutes later, she came down with a gym bag and a coat thrown over her arm. She didn't look at me as she walked out. I didn't watch her go. The door closed. And this time, it stayed shut. The next month moved like fog, quiet, slow, but always pressing forward. The divorce was clean, too clean, almost. Vanessa signed without protest. Maybe because she knew any courtroom would have turned her secrets into headlines. My lawyer didn't even have to push. The settlement gave me the house, my business untouched, and sole control of everything we'd built together. No drawn-out negotiations, no dramatic fights. She didn't want more damage. Or maybe she knew she wouldn't survive another round. I heard she kept her job, but the firm tucked her away, far from client-facing, stripped of her team. No more big meetings. No more gala invites. No more spotlight. Word around town was that HR had restructured her department. Office speak for, "You're lucky you still have a desk." I didn't reach out. Didn't ask questions. I didn't need to. What I needed was breathing room. A life that didn't taste like resentment. Kylie showed up again a week after the dust settled. Not dramatic, just a casual text on a Tuesday. Coffee. We met outside the same cafe. She was already sitting, a paperback in hand, half-finished cappuccino at her elbow. Figured you might not be in the mood for anything serious, she said with a small smile. I'm not, I said. But I'm also not interested in dragging the past around like a broken suitcase. Good, she said. Because I don't do pity dates. We laughed. And that laugh, it didn't feel like a reset button. It felt like a door quietly opening. We kept it simple. Coffee runs, walks through the sculptured garden downtown, dinner once at a place with paper menus and no dress code. Nothing loud, nothing forced, but it felt real. And more than anything, it felt easy. She didn't ask for explanations. I didn't offer timelines. We were two people who'd survived the wreckage, leaning into something quieter than romance, something slower and lighter. Dignity, I realized, wasn't about keeping things polished or perfect. It was about surviving the storm with your spine still straight. It was about sitting across from someone who saw everything, your anger, your silence, your doubt, and didn't flinch. And for the first time in years, I didn't feel like I had to prove anything. Not to anyone, not even myself. The afternoon sun made the glass tower gleam like a blade. I pulled up slowly, easing my new car into the visitor's spot near the curb. It wasn't flashy, just something solid, clean, and mine. A reward, not a statement. I hadn't planned to see Vanessa. Not really. But Kylie had forgotten her phone charger in her office, and we were already downtown after lunch. She asked if I minded stopping by. I didn't. The moment I stepped out of the driver's seat, I saw her, Vanessa, standing just outside the rotating doors, holding a manila folder to her chest, eyes squinting into the sun. She recognized me instantly. "Michael," she said, voice rising with something too soft to be confidence. "Is that your car?" I nodded once, silent. She stepped forward, cautious but hopeful. "Wow, you look different." I didn't answer. Her hand hovered like she wanted to touch my arm. "Are you here to talk?" "I mean, everything's changed now." "We've changed, haven't we?" There was a tremble in her voice. "Maybe," she added quickly. "Maybe this means we can, Michael." Kylie's voice cut clean through the moment. She emerged from the revolving door, calm and unhurried, her hand going easily to mine. She looked at Vanessa for half a second, then gently stepped between us. "We're all set," Kylie said to me, then turned toward Vanessa. "Thanks for holding the door." Vanessa's eyes welled, but she didn't speak. She didn't need to. I nodded once more, opened the passenger door for Kylie, then circled back to the driver's seat. As we pulled away, I saw Vanessa in the rearview mirror, still standing there, still waiting. But I wasn't hers anymore. And maybe I never had been. That was the end of my story. But there's something I keep thinking about. When Kylie stepped forward in front of that building and gently pushed Vanessa aside, was she protecting me, or just drawing a line that needed to be drawn? If you've ever been in her shoes, or think you might have done the same, tell me in the comments. Did Kylie do the right thing? And if this story hit home, don't forget to like and subscribe.